You may not be aware of this, but apparently the Queen of England passed away yesterday. I got to be honest with you, I don't have strong feelings about it one way or another. The most interesting thing about the Queen passing on is that it reminds you that we once, as a world, lived, and there's still some who do, in societies where the government was a family that was anointed by God, according to them, to rule other people. This is going to be relevant when we talk to Ben Dixon, who is starting to work on the problem that we have with Christian nationalists in this country. But if you understand that the fundamental building block of monarchy, which is really also like sort of just oligarchy, but narrower in some ways, less democratic than an oligarchy, was the legitimacy of that type of government, for lack of a better word, was simply founded on religious fundamentalism. And all of the hierarchies that we have are derived ultimately from that. But aside from that, I'm not super interested in it. But in many respects, I could relate to this woman. Let's see this. Need some sound. This is CNN in walking around, I guess,
Windsor.
In Windsor. And looking for people who, I don't know, like, what do you think about the Queen dying? I mean, she's 96. Like, it really, the story is like, why is she still alive?
How she held on so long.
Exactly, but go ahead.
She lives here in Windsor, and I just wonder what you thought, what your first reaction was when you heard the news that the Queen is under medical supervision.
I mean, I think it's pretty sad, like, when anyone kind of gets in that position, like, you wouldn't want that to happen to your own family member. But I'm not, like, the biggest fan of the Queen or just, like, the monarchy in general, so I wasn't, like, that upset or overwhelmed by it. It was just something that happens, I guess.
You're not the biggest fan of the monarchy. I wonder why.
Mainly to do with, like, British, like, colonial history, things like that. A lot of things that have gone on which have been quite shady, even, like, recently with, like, Prince Andrew and everything. So, yeah, I'm not really their biggest fan.
Fair enough. Well, it was nice talking to you.
Yeah, I bet.
There's a couple of Americans over here as well who are on holiday here from Cleveland, and I just wonder, what did you guys think when you first heard the news that the Queen is under medical supervision?
Well, we were surprised. Here we are on a holiday, and then all of a sudden all this hubbub comes, which is, kind of different dynamic for your typical tourism day.
I wonder what your perception is of the Queen more generally.
I think she's an amazing woman. I mean, if you think what she has seen in her lifetime and what she's done with nationally, globally, family, and she's kept a level head, and she's 90.
Yeah, I mean, she's seen, folks die in Africa because of,
in a way, it's amazing.
I mean, look, it's, one can, I mean, put aside the fact that she's 96, because it is amazing what someone who has lived for 100 years has seen. That is really extraordinary, right? And particularly like these 100 years. Anytime over the past 150 years, really, anybody who's lived for 100 years has seen the pace of change. As
Cars were new.
Well, I mean, radios, TVs, cars, computers, video cameras. I mean, it is, that's amazing. I mean, I remember my grandmother said to me, she lived to about 101. And she wanted me to shoot some video at one of the, like at Passover, one of the Jewish holidays, with my great uncle who was there, who ended up living to 104 and this and that. And she and she must have done it because she knew there wasn't much time left for her generation to be there. And so she, for the first time ever, I remember her like being interested in like me shooting some video. And then she kept asking me like, did it come out? And I'm like, well, no, I mean, I knew it came out the moment, like just the idea, the jump from 16 millimeter film, which of course didn't exist like widely until like, I don't know, like maybe late 20s, 30s, like to video was just a massive, like almost conceptually impossible to understand. But the fact that she was queen, like, I don't know, man. I guess it might have been difficult for her to step down at one point and say, but I appreciated how much she really sort of like embarrassed her son by not relinquishing the throne because she didn't have confidence in him be able to go around and cut ribbons and be rich. I'm not sure. Sort of like when Barbara Bush came out and said, like, I'm not sure Jeb should really be running. But aside from that, like, I don't know. If Charles wants to make a big, like, bold move, I would suggest saying, we're going to abolish it. Instead of like King Charles, we're just going to put it into our middle names. So,
Yeah.
Charles King of Windsor, I don't know, what's his last name? I don't even know what his last name is.
That stuff is so confusing because
I don't get it,
changes and stuff.
So it's, like William, I think, wants to be king, but you just could change his middle name to King. Like they'll all be that. Just do it that way. I don't know, but if you're British and you're upset at the passing of her, then my condolences. But maybe you guys should work on this.
It's weird how infantilizing it is because you see somebody on like cable news saying she was their like grandmother, she was their constant, and it's like, well, no, that wasn't exactly what she was. Like my grandmother, that's not like a grandmother to me. Is where you control half the world.
Well, the problem is she was like a grandmother to some people, but she was something far more problematic to a lot the people.
Right. I still remember meeting a guy from Mauritius in undergrad in Minnesota, and the topic of the monarchy came up, and he was very anti-monarchy, and that was the first time I heard that sort of actually vocalized by somebody. And I'm hoping, Dom, you're doing well today.
I mean, it's not hard to hear that if you talk to people whose resources have been pillaged over the years in the name of the monarchy. I guess rest in peace. I mean, I don't know. People are talking about it. Honestly, if it wasn't, I could have easily just missed the whole thing. Honestly.
That's your alibi.
Yep. No, I don't want to start any rumors that I was involved in that whatsoever. I was waiting until she got a little bit older so I could take her. No, would have been too hard. In her 80s, she was still too feisty.